What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Athletes Club. I'm excited to be joined here today with
Mak Manciel, guard at Detroit Mercy.
Mac. You spent some time in JUCO at Henry Ford, Arkansas State. Now, as you said, Detroit Mercy from Detroit, Michigan. How's everything going with you this season?
Everything's going well. We're trying to figure it out. I'm recovering off an ACL tear, so this is kind of my get back year, getting back comfortable, hooping and just trying to, get back into the regular flow that I had prior to. So it's
Right.
been, ups and downs as it always does, but we going day by day, so can't be mad.
No, I feel that.
Can't be mad.
Kind of hop right into it. Mental health is definitely a popular topic now. You have a lot of athletes like that are actually speaking out about it. Is that something that you have ever struggled with?
Yes, so mental health, especially dealing with this ACL process. I mean, that's the most recent kind of up and down battle that I faced. But mental health is the main game with, I think, life and sports. It's all based on, because your brain is very powerful. So what you think and what you tell yourself is honestly what the end all be all for kind of your situation. And so especially with basketball, I feel that, you have a bad practice, you have a bad shooting day, that can easily be something that carries on for who knows how long. So mentally it's definitely a huge focus, and I'm glad it's getting more awareness, as of these past couple of years, because it is something that not too long ago it was kind of just breath like brushed past and not really, focus as much on. But as times come by and we kind of get to know a little more about how it kind of can affect performance and just day-to-day life, it's definitely something that I've been more in tune with and trying to train my brain to be stronger and more prepared for these situations that we kind of go through. So yeah.
Right. What was that experience like for you to kind of the injury side or even like the basketball side of it?
So the injury side, I'm not gonna lie. When I had my ACL, that year process was a very down year. Like, you can't basketball is not necessarily my identity, but it's definitely a part of it, and that's something I've grown up playing. And so taking away that part of basically me is it was detrimental to my day to day. Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm worried about therapy for my knee and sitting on the sideline watching everybody else practice. And I mean, it's a terrible feeling. Mentally, you're just less motivated. You don't feel like you really, I'm not gonna say matter, but like you really don't in your day-to-day college basketball life. Like, when you're hurt, you're just kind of thrown to the side and you fend for yourselves. And so that process for me this past year was definitely a struggle. But I something we'll probably talk about later is with faith. I mean, that's something when I really had to look towards God and have asked him for strength, to allow me to get through, the struggles and the ups and downs, because it's a very, rocky road, especially with the injury. And I mean, looking on the basketball side of things, that's something also at the beginning of this year that I faced with a lot, because I was coming back, not myself, not completely having my full athleticism, not being as fast, as strong as I was in prior years, because of me still working on, the recovery process and everything going on. So I'm playing these games and I'm not performing how I want to perform. And it's like a constant battle. Every day you waking up like, all right, I got practice. I gotta try to hit a shot. I gotta try to box out. I gotta do these little things that, for me, not too long ago were so simple and easy. I can wake up, get a bucket. And now it was like I couldn't even, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't score it on my best day.
Right.
So it's definitely a process, you both in life and in basketball. And so I've definitely had my trials these past, year or so.
Not fair. That's fair. In these, you briefly mentioned your faith, but like, was there someone or what or who did you use? Uh, did you find useful to help you get through these things?
I'm not gonna lie, the one thing I'm very grateful for is my supporting cast. So whether it be friends, family, like, and just from the time of me growing up and my relationships that I've been able to build and form, my father, well, my family in general, my father, my mother, and even my little brother, they all were telling me, make sure you're strong in your faith, make sure you're praying and you're making sure you're talking to God, because without it, you're by yourself, you're stuck in your mind and you don't have really much to really, get off your chest.
Right.
And so with those three people specifically, me, my father, my mother, and my brother, they helped me to just have someone to talk to, someone to be able to really ground you when you're struggling. And so I mean, moving on from my friends, I big bro Nate, he always is the first person I can reach out and text and talk to, and he'll really keep it straight with me. You know what I'm saying? And just let me know, everything all right. This is a process. This is a part of the ups and downs. This is something that you're built for. You've been through adversity before. It comes and goes, and that's really just kind of being able to convince yourself that it's going to be okay. Like this is just, another day, thankfully, you know, to keep going, but it's just, another day that you got to keep working through, and eventually everything kind of works out in the end. So that's those people specifically are people that I've definitely been able to connect with and help me. And vice versa. I hope to say that I am someone that can also help them when they're going through, same
Right.
type of struggles. Being when my little brother plays basketball and he is very similar to me, we go through kind of the same things. And so we're very alike with our personalities and how we interact. And so when I see that he's struggling, it's something that I've already been through. And my pop says it all the time. Everything that you've seen right now, I've seen it 20 years ago or whatever. So, it's kind of a revolving door that just keeps going. And, I'm able to lean on them, and they same with me to kind of just get through this everyday battle that, you kind of go through.
Right. Definitely shout out to Nate. He will definitely keep it straight with you, even if you don't want
Man,
to.
he gonna get you right. Make sure you're on your toes for
He'll
real.
definitely tell you what you need to hear.
Got
He
to.
doesn't make the rules though. So
He
if you
doesn't
don't,
make the
he
rules.
doesn't make the rules.
That's funny. That's funny.
In these moments, like you mentioned, you got a great support cast and definitely someone that you can reach out to, plenty of people. But are you definitely someone who will isolate themselves from people, or are you someone that'll take the step to reach out for help and be like, I'm struggling?
I think the younger version of myself was definitely more isolated. I wouldn't even try to reach out to my parents because I felt more of like a burden. Like it was kind of like an extra problem that they shouldn't have to deal with because this
Right.
is at the end of the day, it's my life. This is my problem. This is something that I got to figure out through myself. And so that was definitely a part of really how I always held myself since a kid. Like I didn't want to be seeming like almost a burden. And so as of recently, when you have people that are really on your side, they did a good job of letting me know that like I'm here for you. I'm here. I'm here to listen. I'm here for advice. I'm here for really whatever you need. Sometimes they just sit there and just listen to me vent and talk about how this isn't going how it's planned and this story and this story. And then at the end of the day, we'll chalk it up and talk about something completely different. And so, I mean, just I wasn't necessarily the one reaching out, you know what I'm saying? But as of recently, I've been better at, understanding that people are actually, open to listening here without being, too much of a, always trying to call you every day and
Right.
talk about
Right.
it. Yeah.
Just
So
checking in.
it's I try to have a good balance with it.
Right.
Definitely have a good balance with it.
You did mention that you definitely have faith in God, and to touch on it, when did your faith start?
I was really born into it. I would say. I mean, I grew up in the church. My father went through his spiritual journey. I'd say more so around college, and that's when I was born. So by the time I was, old enough to really kind of understand what was going on, I was already in church, going basically every Sunday. And if we missed a couple Sundays because of basketball or whatever, I was still reading the Bible. He was making sure that I, was knew what my foundation really was. So it was never really something I didn't know. It was something that kind of just I naturally seeing my father was a great example and my mother as well. They were great examples and basically showing me how, how to pray, how to be deep in your faith and really how to just follow God's, path and plan for you to, eventually everything works out. And I mean, even with my situation and how everything played out, I did what, what I'm saying. I made it through college basketball. I'm getting the education, I'm continuing my basketball career. So everything works out in the end. And so when, through that, the base that they have given me with my faith is since really a kid, since a baby, I've been able to kind of, work things out.
So how have you been able to tie your faith into like sports or times of adversity in sports?
Um, I would say around like middle school, when I really was, starting coming to my own and really kind of seeing how this life thing works, I guess. I don't know. I would start praying before the games. And that was one thing that even to today, I prayed before the game today. And it doesn't even have to be like a set time. Like sometimes I'll pray during the anthem. Sometimes when I have a time or a short second before when we're huddling up and everything, I'll step to the side. And even like before when it's a minute left on the clock, we all huddle up as a team and we'll pray. And I mean, not every team does that because not all religions align and you know how it may be, but
Yeah.
we got every religion in the book on this team, and you know, this is kind of a common ground of like a bigger, you know, something bigger than us that we can all say that we believe in, and we know that you know, it's working with us.
Mm.
And so ever since, I would say about middle school, I've been praying before the games. I pray the night, I mean, every day, but so specifically before the game. And it wouldn't even be just, you know, God help me have a good game. It's more so, you know, praying for health, praying for protection, praying to play in his name. And so it's kind of just overall touching every piece you can, just to,
Right.
you know, and it honestly makes you feel better, or for me at least, I feel way more relaxed, way more in tune with the game. So it definitely does its job for me.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said or you spent some time at JUCO at Henry Ford. Why did you end up choosing the JUCO route?
That's a interesting story, I feel, from my side, because I didn't have the typical high school, you know, career as per se. I started off at Country Day freshman sophomore year, transferred, wasn't able to play because of the rules in Michigan my junior year. And then that ended up being the COVID year where the playoffs were cut off and canceled.
Right.
So my senior year, I only played 5 games, like five or 6 games. I was out maybe like 2 or 3 because of contact tracing, and we had like 9 total as a team. So I didn't really get the typical high school exposure and this and that. So I ended up having one game. I had a really good game. I had like two. It was really my pop out game where I had like 25, 2 dunks. I dunked on somebody, and it were a couple coaches in the crowd. It was a couple D2 schools though, and no, not just like breakdown to D2, but I didn't feel like that was the level that my skill set and I worked for. And so I went to an open run with some of my guys just throughout Michigan that ended up going to Michigan State and Northwestern and all these big name people that, you know, had worked it for it and earned what they got. And I was in there, I was killing. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing. And shout out Coach Shep and Coach Brad and the whole coaching staff at Henry Ford. Those are my guys. I love them to death. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. He walks in the gym, and Coach Shep kept it straight with me from the jump. He said, you can't do this really well at all. Like he was basically letting me know, this is what you can't do. This is what we can help you with. This is what you can do
Right.
real well. And if you do this, we can get you here. And so it kind of at first is, I'm like, it's JUCO. I don't know if I want to do that. It doesn't have a good kind of, you know, association with everything that's going on with grades or bad kids or whatever it may be. But of course, I prayed about it. I had a feeling about it, and my favorite thing in that time period was bet on yourself. If at the end of the day, if I put the work in, I do what I got to do, it's all gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? And so, funny enough, my parents were not messing with it at all. They were mad at me. They were super mad at me for turning down full scholarships, and I ended up. It was like a period during the summer where like I literally would walk in the house and nobody would talk to me. Like it was deep. Like it got bad. And so that was just another thing I'm going through. But at the same time, I'm so locked in. I'm ready. I'm this is it. You know. And so Coach Shep, he told me, he said, listen, you can come here, play for us this summer, and you're gonna end up getting Division 1 offers. And if you really want to, you don't even have to come. And I'm like, what? Like, you're recruiting me to come to your school, but if I end up getting offers before, you don't even want me. He's like, I know you can do it. Like, you have the talent. And I mean, if that's what's best for you, then you know what I'm saying. I will leave it up to you. And if you don't want to come, you can go off to the schools that you want to. And it literally, it was like he just laid it out in line. That the first week played pretty well. Got some interest from UMKC, South Dakota State. Next week we went back to Iowa, and I ended up getting the offers. So it was like he looked at it. He's like, all right, well, this school, I'm not really feeling it. This school, I think you would really fit well here. If you want to go, you're all for it. And so with that alone, I was like, okay, I really trust this guy. Like this, he's really invested a lot in me, and it's just he's making it almost seem too easy, too simple. Like I feel like there's a catch or something like that. And
Yeah.
that's just Coach Shep. That's he's just a real dude. He gets all his guys together. He spends countless hours with us, study hall, this, and this. And so he basically said, you know, I said, you know, I'm gonna stick it through. I trust in what you got. You haven't lied to me up to now. Everything that you said has, you know, come into plan. And so I ended up committing there, staying there the whole season, and you know, the rest is history. So it was a big decision though, because it had a little
It
conflict.
sounds like it's a big decision if nobody gonna talk to you in your house.
I'm saying though, right? I don't even get no love in the crib because, you know.
So,
I'm
I mean,
doing
you
my
kind of
routine.
laid out, my question was going to be, what was your plan going in? But now that you kind of explained the plan, do you feel like you executed the plan you had going into the situation?
I feel like I did. I mean, I started off kind of rough, ended up hurting my wrist, so I missed like the first 3 games.
Mhm.
From there on, it was on my shooting wrist too, so I was coming back a little shaky, wasn't hitting shots the same, and he was just talking to me like, listen, like this is all you. Like I'm giving, you know what I'm saying? Like we have confidence in you. You're the guy. You can do this. And plus, my team was I had the coldest JUCO team you can ever think of. I had my man. What nobody wanted to see us for real. And we had the identity of like y'all can't mess with us. Like this was just how it was. So my guys believe in me. The coaches believe in me. Like it was all kind of set out
All on one accord.
how it was. Yeah. And so, eventually I get in the flow of things. We had some older guys on the team too. They were teaching me a lot of things. And then I ended up killing. Once I got my confidence, once I started hitting shots, I ended up winning freshman of the year, player of the year, first team all defense. Like I had swept through a lot of the awards and I was an All-American. And so I definitely feel like I accomplished or exceeded what I even imagined. I didn't think I was going in there and going to be player of the year for, or even an All-American. Like that was something that he told me I can do it, but I even didn't even believe it to saying that I could, achieve so much of the things that I was able to achieve. And so I think I did what I had to do though at the end of the day.
Right. So, like you just say, you guys had the coldest team. What was your playing experience in JUCO?
So in JUCO, we got up a lot of shots. We had the whole starting lineup could shoot for real. Like we shot a lot of threes. We were up and playing super fast, throwing lobs, hounding on defense, trying to get a lot of transition so we can go and get out and shoot more threes.
Right.
So we were really a very hectic all over the place, but we played together. There was nobody that was super selfish,
Mhm.
nobody that was like trying to be the man. And I mean, we had literally like 4 or 5 guys that could have been that dude, any given night. We had people off the bench scoring 25, 30 points. And then we'd have like 2 starters that got 20 or a starter that got 5 and he's chilling, oh well, we won by 30. Who cares? So the vibe, the attitude, the team, the feeling, everything was amazing. So honestly, it was fun. One thing you can ask anybody though, I gotta bring this up. The conditioning beforehand, he got us right. We had this it is a mountain. Forget a hill. We call it a hill, but it's a mountain. We up there running 30 times back and forth, running the long ways, short ways. So we definitely put the preparation into it.
Where's the mountain?
It's in Dearborn. It's I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's
This
maybe
is
like,
Michigan?
yeah, it's in Michigan.
Okay.
It's in Michigan. It's probably like 15, 20 minutes away from Detroit.
Mhm.
But it's we were out there when it was raining, when it was, you know what I'm saying? It's hot. Everybody got their shirt off, sweating like crazy, about to pass out. We got cats throwing up every, like at the beginning stage, it was at least one person throwing up every time. So, we were good, but we put the work in too.
Right.
So that's kind of how it went.
Right. So with you going from Henry Ford to Arkansas and then transferring to now Detroit Mercy, what went into transferring for you? How did you come to
Um,
that decision?
the decision from JUCO to Arkansas was I had about 13, 14 offers. A couple Horizon League, couple Sun Belt, couple MAC, couple like just throughout other conferences. And honestly, it was kind of based on feel. Like I think the favorite, or everyone thought I was gonna go to Central Michigan because that's where my dad went. My dad was one of the all-time greats over at Central. And even on my visit there, it basically was a picture of my pops doing a fadeaway and me doing a fadeaway saying like welcome home. And
Oh
so it was
wow.
kind of like, really, you know what I'm saying? This is something I
Even
want to
on the
think.
strings, like, hey
Yeah,
Mac.
you know what I'm saying? They played this pretty well. And they had another guard there named Boopy. He was over at Wake Forest now. And it was kind of like he was saying, like, we gonna come kill. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do what we gotta do, yada yada. But then I ended up taking my visit to Arkansas State. Shout out to all my guys over there. I still all love. Just because I'm at a different place doesn't mean it's any different. They know how it is. All the coaches, all of that. It's real cool. But that was my best visit by far. Like from the energy from the time we touched down. Like even my parents came on this visit and they were like, that was the best visit we've had. And so from obviously it being a little warmer than up here in Michigan, that was one thing I didn't want to be too close to home because I was kind of tired of it. But from the time we got down there, the coaches, the assistants, the head coach, we're laughing, kicking it. And I know you're on a visit, so it's kind of a front, but it just felt so much more genuine and like real compared to, some of my other visits. And then I started kicking it with the team a little bit. The team all was cool, of which I mean is kind of rare throughout programs. Like you got so many different guys coming together. Not too often do we all kind of mesh. And with that team, it was cool. Like I'm not saying we all hung out together every day, but like there was no real conflict between anybody. And I had asked around, I was asking what I thought were pretty good questions for, usually it's just kind of what kind of gear you get, this, and this. But I'm asking, like, do y'all really mess with each other? Like, what's the inside scoop? And they
Right.
were something like, it's cool. We can be good. We seen your highlights. You think you're good. We mess with you. Yada yada. This and this. And so it seemed like a great scenario for me. And regardless of me tearing my ACL, I matured and learned a lot. So I don't even regret going there or any of that. It was I made some brothers. Like they're literally like people that I would say, even from just 1 year of us being together, like they're brothers that so they're gonna be, at my wedding, know my kid, all the whole shebang. So
Right.
it's that was definitely the reason why I went there. It was just the best, or what I felt was best. I prayed about it. That's how it was. Now, leaving Arkansas State, that was a little bit of a different situation. Our coach ended up getting fired. I wasn't able to play. I didn't play a single game this season. I played in the Dominican Republic for it were the expedition summer games. I played all three of those, and it was looking up. I was how everything was led. It was they recruited me to be one of the main guys, main scorer type thing, and that's kind of how it was looking. We were all meshing well. I was struggling a little bit in practice, not hitting shots, but it was more so just because I was so like eager to just get everything right. I'm in there, and honestly, I say I tore my ACL because I was really in the gym too much. Like I ended up getting kicked out of the gym the day I tore my ACL. The coach called me into his office saying like, we're cutting your key card off because you're working so much outside of the court that when you're in practice and you don't perform, it's mentally messing you up. And so it was a whole another mental game that I was dealing with. And
Wow.
yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if that's how I would have solved the problem by
I don't
not
think I've ever heard of somebody saying leave the gym.
exactly.
That-
But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was in there from the time I woke up. I'm waking up, eating my breakfast, going to class, working out before practice, practicing, working out after practice. I go home, chill for a little bit, do whatever, go back to the gym, get some more shots out, work up again. So that was my whole day. And I didn't do my best on the recovery process. So it kind of caught up to me in the end.
Okay.
Um,
That makes more
that's
sense.
just kind of how the little situation works. So my coach ended up getting fired. Now I'm kind of in a situation where we got a new coach coming in. I didn't play. I don't know if he's gonna mess with me. I'm not really his recruit, his guy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm real cool with Antoine Davis that was here at UAD this past year. And I hit him up like, I know you're leaving. Is your pops gonna mess with me basically? Is like, how would this situation look out? And he put the word in for me. They looked at my film and they said, we gonna offer you, you know what I'm saying? We love for you to come home. And kind of from there on, it was kind of I get to come home for a little bit, see the family, play in front of the family, be close to everybody again, and just honestly, my thought process coming in was, I'm gonna take it over and get us back on the map. You know what I'm saying? Continue what everything's been going on, and unfortunately, it hasn't gone exactly how I planned. But that was my plan. That wasn't necessarily God's plan. And so how everything's playing out now, you kind of connect the dots a little bit. But with that transfer, it was more so just coming back home. I had a couple other options when I did transfer just from, connections that I had made prior to after JUCO. But at the end of the day, I ended up just sticking with UD, and I don't regret it by any means. Even with how our season's going and everything, this is where I'm meant to be. So it was a good little process though.
It's a good journey though.
It definitely is. It's definitely fun.
Learning experience. What would your advice be for someone that would be considering transferring or is in the process of transferring?
Ooh, my advice is to really not get caught up in the moment because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. That's one thing that like not necessarily speaking to my situation, but I've seen plenty of guys get in the portal and either not be able to leave or end up in a situation that was worse than the one that they just came from. So it's like, you had this opportunity where you may thought that you deserve more, or you think there's something better out there, you get there and then you mess around not play, or your relationship with the coach isn't the same, so he doesn't look out for you like how some other people would, and now you're just kind of thrown to the side because at the end of the day it's a business. So it's like if you're not producing, if you're not performing, you really don't quote unquote matter. I mean, unfortunately, that's just
Right. No, that's
how it ends up being. And so I would really assess the situation that you have, see, weigh the pluses and the minuses. What's the problem? Why do you feel like you have to transfer? And what do you feel like you can get somewhere else? And I mean, it's kind of hard to really make that decision because I feel like there's a lot you never really know. You know what I'm saying? Unless you just had a great year and you're trying to go up to, you know what I'm saying, another school or something like that, get some money because with NIL, everything is a little different now. So I mean, there's plenty of things that go into it, but one thing my father and definitely the older generation, I would say, not that my dad's older or anything, but the generation before mine, before all this transferring and everything,
right.
came into play, he was so set on just stick it through. Like,
Yeah.
what's the why leave? Like, what's the problem with it? He wasn't a fan of me coming back home. Like, he didn't really necessarily feel like it was the best idea. He wasn't against it per se, but he was like, you have an opportunity. The coach says that, he'll work with you. He wants you to get healthy. He'll trust in you. Why leave? And so that was a question that I faced that looking back at it, I mean, I made the decision, but I can completely understand why it would have made sense for me to stay there as well. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, going into it, you just really have to ask the right questions, make sure that don't do it just for like, just to leave. Like, you have to really know that this is where you're going to go, what you're going to get, or how close to what you're going to get. Cause you never really know until you're in it. But it's just it's kind of a jump. It's a trust in yourself moment, and it's sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And that's when you kind of got to rely on your faith. You got to pray about it. You got to know that this is what God wants for you, not what you want, because you only see this. You don't see what everything can be.
Right.
So it's kind of hard on that for that question, but there's a lot that goes into it. A
Yeah.
lot that goes.
No, I mean, it's definitely situational based, but I think definitely it helps hearing from someone that's like kind of considered the process. I mean, like everyone's situation is different, like you're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
just like things to look out for.
yeah.
You mentioned your injury was an ACL injury. What was your thought process immediately following the injury?
Man, so this is actually my third ACL that I'm on right now. I had surgery when I was in middle school. I was 6th, 7th grade. I tore it, had surgery. I was about 6 months out, and being a kid, goofing off, doing something I shouldn't have done, I ended up tearing it again, like in school or after school. I was on the field playing around, kicking a soccer ball.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff. I don't even play soccer. Like, but I ended up tearing it, had surgery again, go through that whole 9, 10 month year process. And then everything was all good. By my freshman year, I was wearing a brace in the summer. I ended up taking it off. And then the rest was cool. 2 weeks before the season starts in Arkansas, we're in practice and it's a one-on-one drill. I do a little hesitation move. My foot clips the back of the person guarding me's foot, and it kind of threw off how I landed. I stepped, it gave out. Instantly, I knew I was. Everyone was like, "Oh, I don't think I've been through it enough to know like I did something." And so, I mean, I was crying, I was frustrated, I'm banging on the floor, I'm yelling, cussing, all this, and it was just one of those situations where everything hits you at once. Like, it's hard to think positive in that situation, especially when I feel like I already knew that I just tore it. So it's just like, damn, like what's next? Like, where do I go from this? Like, what do I do? So
Yeah.
the mental aspect, I was just flooded, overwhelmed. I'm, borderline depressed at that point because it's like you kind of, I knew what was ahead of me. I knew I was gonna have a struggle this whole rest of the year. I live on the second floor. I got a dog. Like, it was just a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying? Things just felt like they were adding up on top of each other. And that all hit me like literally that day. I was like, man, it's gonna be a ride for sure.
Yeah, because you go from 100 to 0 to, I mean, 100
Literally,
miles
just
an
like
hour.
that.
Now it's you're
Just
ground
like
zero.
that. And
When like was there a moment aside from when you like you said you knew you got hurt, was there a moment that your injury resonated with you? Like was it like a moment like 3 months down the line you was sitting there watching TV, maybe it was like 5:30, that's when you practiced and you were like, man, I tore my ACL.
yeah, so I had a couple, honestly. The first one was the day after when I was at practice, they had told me like after practice everyone was kind of messed up. Everyone was like, "Dang," like because that's it, when something like that happens. It's kind of as an athlete, you just feel it. You feel for whoever happens because you don't wish that on anybody.
Right.
So that next practice, like the vibe was different. Everybody was just kind of in a different mood. Like it was kind of like, dang, like I'm on the sideline. We had about two other people hurt, and I'm sitting there. I'm watching practice, and somebody said something to me about like the game coming up, and I was literally was like, "Bro, I have no clue. Like it had none of my concern. Like I literally, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I'm done for this year. Like there's no chance of me coming back. I'm I was like, dang, like yeah, it's you don't even know what to think about for real. You're just like, bro, this is how this is gonna go. Like this is the situation I'm in. And then not too long after, we had so many people hurt that it was about 7 or 8 of us. Like we had like scholarship players. It was about 7 scholarship players that were either season-ending injury or like extended injury, like more than a month or two. You know what I'm saying? So we had non-scholarship players playing in the game. So we're losing. Like we're not playing too well. And it got to the point to where they wouldn't let the certain players travel with the team. And because I was an ACL that really wasn't doing it, I literally they just told me to stay here and do my therapy. So
Yeah.
I'm watching my guys on TV in my room like play a game, and I'm like, wow, like I'm literally not there. Like I don't not even thought about not anything. So that's another moment where you just kind of feel like lost almost because it's like I'm literally not even a part of the team the way that you would kind of wish. And that was probably the biggest realization right there when I was watching it from my house, like not even there. It was kind of messed up.
That is messed up. I mean, watching your team, it's like you're not in the trenches with them no more either.
And so you really that was another thing. Like it was almost like a not a disconnect, but it's like I still went to practice when we were there, so it wasn't like I was missing out on stuff. But like after a game, after practice, when you're talking about certain plays, like me not being directly in it, I
Yeah.
didn't remember anything. I'm just sitting there like a bug on fly on a wall, or like just there because there's nothing for me really to say. I just kind of laugh at it or talk about it. But at the end of the day, you just sitting there like this is not fun. This is
Yeah.
suck.
That's,
So
that's not.
yeah.
Through this process of like the injuries and stuff, has your mindset or thought process changed at all?
Definitely, definitely. My approach to the game of basketball is different. I stretch more. I focus more on my body. Like I actually get in the ice tub like I'm supposed to. So I like there's little tweaks and changes that you kind of are forced to act on now because prior to I didn't stretch that much. Like I didn't prepare myself for what I was, you know, being a Division 1 athlete. So now I come into the game more prepared. I actually go to bed at a decent time. I do the little things. I try to eat breakfast. I try to, check off the boxes that may not seem like they matter, but clearly, they do. Especially when you gotta wake up and perform and give 3 hours of your day and going 100 miles per hour, sweating. You got to make sure you eat, got to replenish yourself. And so it's really night and day, honestly. It changed my whole preparation, my whole thought process when it comes to the game of basketball and even life in general. Like it kind of matures you as being more healthy just in general because your body's your temple. So I was kind of looking at it as just something where, it wasn't much thought prior to. Now I definitely am more aware and attentive to, things that I have to do for myself because, that's kind of the main piece. Without your body, you can't really, do much. So
You go anywhere.
exactly. Exactly.
Um, Especially at the D1 level, NIL has like a big impact. Have you had any NIL opportunities?
So with certain programs, especially there's ways that you can go at it. If you're a high performing guy, such as like a Caleb Love or someone on that level that is at a North Carolina, Duke, and something like that, the opportunities will be definitely a little different because the donors and the sponsorship that you have behind you is more
Yeah.
definitely bigger. So with me being at Detroit Mercy, it's more kind of on yourself to where first of all, you got to perform at the end. If you're not performing, then you're not much value. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to have a social media presence and all of that. So there are some NIL. I know last year I was doing some stuff. I was I had a NIL with Cairo therapy to where I can get in the ice chamber and do all the stuff for my body. And I didn't even utilize it like I should have. And that's something that, looking back at it now, if I was in Arkansas, that's probably something I would do literally every day. Right after practice, I could head straight there, knock it out. It's about 3 minutes, super cold. You feel refreshed for the whole rest of the day, next morning, and it just kind of carries on. And so now I've been more focused on me just getting my performance together, making sure that I can, actually, if I approach you with, hey, I play basketball at Detroit Mercy, I can do this, this, and this for you. Let's work something out.
Right.
But if you're not really, giving what you need to give, it's kind of hard to come up and say, hey, I go to UAD, I don't play, I don't do this, I don't do that. You trying to, work something out. So it's kind of, it varies, depending. And I mean, I have friends that are making, pretty substantial amount of money in college because they're performing, they're winning, they have the connections, they have the donors that are, backing them. They've been able to advertise basically themselves and reach out and this and that. So the opportunity is definitely there. Unfortunately, I haven't taken full advantage of it like I should, but it's all a process and it's coming eventually.
So once NIL came available, one of the main pushbacks that you would see is like how you mentioned big time schools like Duke, UNC, they would get away with like buying players or like kind of like buying your team. What are your thoughts on that kind of pushback?
I'm not gonna lie, being a player, I'm all for it. Like if you have the opportunity to I mean it's favorable for you, and I mean that some of the money they're getting like can change the whole like situation that you can be in. They could change. It's quarterbacks out here. I know it's not basketball, but it's quarterbacks making 2-3 mil, for a college season. Like that's life-changing money for a family, for people that, so to say like it's wrong is not necessarily true. I think it's something that can be tweaked a little bit to where it's more favorable for everybody, because there are situations where players end up getting like messed over for contracts that they signed that they don't know what they're completely getting into. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think that the education or the the side of the players need to be more educated and more, protected, I feel. Because I feel like right now there is a new rule that I just seen was released too for, us. I didn't fully check it out and read it, but it looks like a step in the right direction. But I feel like if the players are educated enough on the deal and, they are given the opportunity, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's basically once you're in college, I mean, it's not professional basketball, but this is a job. So, I mean, I gotta wake up every morning, I gotta go to class, and I have practice that's the middle block of my day to where, but I go in there, it's light out, I leave, it's dark out. Like I mean, and then you gotta go get extra time in there. So I mean, it is a job. And so if I'm able to be compensated for it and I can perform, why not? So
Definitely.
I agree with it. I like it.
I agree too, because I mean, the higher you get, or like the higher you play, like Division 1 and all that stuff, the more it does become a job,
Literally.
especially in college. Especially, I mean, we all have the sport we love, whether I mean basketball, football. Um, there comes a point in time where as you progress through college, high school, that you realize the business side of it. So when did you realize that basketball was a business?
Once again, shout out my big bro Nate, because he opened my eyes to that probably in high school. When in high school, it's still a business. It's not, as heavily focused. I will actually take it back. The higher levels of high school, the IMGs and Montverde, like that's definitely more business orientated than per se just a local high school. But I mean, it's a business everywhere. It's who you know, it's what position each person is in, and I mean, it's things all over college basketball where just because this person and this person politic better than this person, now they're in a situation that's completely different. So I mean, the business aspect, I had my eyes open to it, fortunately, earlier than most people do. Shout out to Nate. But that was something that I didn't even really understand until I was more into college alone. got into JUCO and especially Arkansas, I really seen like everything it has a price tag behind it. Everything is, you know, money orientated, and whoever provides the most value seems to benefit the most. So, I mean, I was opened up to it early, but it's I'm continuing to learn, you know, as time goes on, and I know it only gets bigger from here once I leave college and play professionally wherever that may be. I know it's just gonna be, well, that's literally all it is at that point. It's the entertaining business. So
No, definitely shout out to Nate for something like this too. He's
yeah.
knowledgeable on it. What when you make sports decisions and like you just mentioned, hopefully professionally, what do you sit down and take into consideration?
Um, for the professional side of things, like me looking forward to first of all, I mean, it's kind of a day-to-day thing. So I don't think too much about like my future and what it holds, because it's kind of, you know, I gotta wake up and do what I gotta do tomorrow. So it's I try to have a good balance of the future and present day what I'm in. But what I honestly just being I guess happy. Like I just want to be satisfied and you know, doing what I enjoy. I don't want to be caught up playing basketball and not having fun, because when it's not fun, it's really, I get it's a job, but it's like the love of basketball was what started it. If I can continue to have the love and the enjoyment and the fun, it just makes it being a job a little less like being a job. You know, it's something that you can really enjoy and something that is not like waking up and going to work, honestly. So just being, you know, being in a situation to where I can still say I'm having fun playing the game that I'm playing and making as much money and you know, as much money as I can, because at the end of the day, it's to provide for, you know, all my needs and all eventually a family and everything that it may be. So it's there's a couple things that are tied into it for sure, but having fun and you know, making sure I'm set off the court are probably the two main, you know, the two main things that I would put with that.
Okay, cool. Through this interview, you shined a lot of light on who you are as a basketball and your thoughts on that. But who is Mac outside of basketball?
Ooh, outside of basketball, I mean, it takes up a lot of time, but you know, I got a couple hobbies and stuff. I like taking pictures. I like, you know, fashion, cars. I mean, I'm still a regular person at the end of the day. I know just because some people are athletes, that's kind of the identity and just what's automatically you're thrown into this category of sports. Like that's all you know, that's all they care about. Not really. I mean, everybody like to have fun. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to do all the, you know, regular stuff that, you know, is just regular day-to-day life stuff. Take a break from basketball every now and then, because it's so time consuming on, you know, a regular daily basis. So
Right.
I got a dog and I try to put my dog as much as I can or whatever's going on. But you know, it's good to kind of take my mind off of the sports side of things, because you can easily get consumed with, you know, everything that comes with that.
What
They
gained your interest in photography?
who honestly, basketball, honestly, because I mean, as a basketball player, you want the best pictures, you want, you know, that highlight tape, and I enjoy like scenic views. Like I really like sunsets and stuff that is pleasing to the eyes, like to look at. So if I can able to capture a picture where someone's like, dang, like that's a tough picture, then, you know, I think I did my job. So it started kind of with sports photography. Like I was taking pictures for like my little brother's AAU team, and it ended ventured off to, you know, if you want pictures, hit me up. I got you type thing. And then I'd kind of go outside. I'd take pictures for like my dad had some clothing stuff going on, so I take some pictures for that, or I take pictures for my friends whenever they needed, you know, like a photo shoot for one of my friends was producing the album, so I shot one of like the cover for his album. So I mean, really, it's plenty of opportunities to take pictures. Like everybody wants their picture taken. Everybody wants, you know, so that's definitely a lucrative business that I seen on one side, but at the same time, I enjoyed taking, you know, pictures. So it kind of ended up meshing together. And I actually was borrowing my mother's camera, so it wasn't even my stuff. I was having to go to the crib, grab her camera, I was doing all this research on YouTube and figuring out how to mess with like the shutter speed and all the, you know, all the bells and whistles with the, you know, the camera. And it ended up being something I really enjoyed. And so not necessarily being able to just go take pictures whenever I want, but whenever I had free time, you know, I try to go outside or try to go to an event where pictures, you know, would be needed. And so that was kind of the start of that. honestly. But
You
sport,
really into it. If you mention it, I don't know what the shutter speed or whatever that
yeah.
is, but into it.
Yeah, I try to every now and then get back into it a little bit more just so I can stay fresh and keep like certain settings in my phone of when the best lighting or how to adjust the camera to this, this, and this. And so I'm nowhere near a professional by any means. Like I'm still definitely at the beginning stages, but I'm getting better at it. So, it's
Okay.
a process. The next thing is editing. I want to learn how to edit
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
get
definitely,
everything kind of
definitely.
slammed up and all that.
What is your fashion inspiration?
Ooh, my fashion inspiration. So, I mean, this really comes from like league fits. Honestly, those are the main kind of uh well, I guess the basketball and like the rap and hip hop music, it has a pretty good like mesh with fashion and I mean they're already kind of intertwined, but especially with like the fashion industry. And so I mean there are some people in the league that have interesting like style choices. Like one person who does some crazy stuff is like Russell Westbrook.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with all the stuff he wears, and I mean, that is none of my business. You choose, you wear what you want to wear, type thing. And that's the thing that I also like about it is not everybody's gonna like it, but if if you're comfortable wearing it or you think it's fire, then rock it. And so it can be something you picked up for like $5 from the thrift store, or it could be some designer stuff that was 2 bands. So it's a wide range. You can do a lot with it. You can mix and match. You can switch it up. You can steal from other people. You can you know maybe somebody steals some stuff that you did type thing. So there's plenty of people in the league. I like Jordan Clarkson got some he be throwing some stuff on. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he be throwing some stuff on. So every now and then, I mean, I don't like just check and see what people are wearing, but every now and then on Instagram or something, I'll see, some fits that are pretty tough or some shoes. I'm pretty heavy into shoes. So that kind of started it when I was younger and it kind of grew from there, honestly.
What's it like for you being a dog dad?
A dog dad. So I got my baby Hennessy. That's her name, Little Henny. Uh, I got her when I was in Arkansas. And crazy story, it was me and my roommate. We were talking about getting a dog because like I've been wanting a dog. He wanted a dog. So we're like, let's look and see if we can find somebody that's having puppies or something like that. So we're walking out of Walmart and someone's walking in with this little pit bull puppy and jumped on the opportunity. We're like, bro, where you got, like somebody that's selling dogs or something like that. He's like, yeah, my man's just had a whole litter of, these puppies. I'm like, bet I'm on that. Let me get his number, yada yada. He's like, tomorrow we can meet up. We had practice. I'm excited. I'm not even thinking about practice. I'm thinking about how I'm about to get this dog. So I leave practice. We go straight to it was this dude's backyard. Like it was kind of like a test round for like the puppies because he didn't know how it was his first set and all that stuff. So they weren't too expensive. They weren't like fully documented or anything. So I kind of got a pretty good deal on it. And yeah, I went in to get this black puppy and he was a little weird and this little gray, like all had cuts and everything because he was playing with the pop or the big dog, ran up to me and I was like, I got to. It was chosen. So instantly I got this dog, Hennessy, and then my roommate had got the dog Malibu, which is like a brownish 3-color pit bull, whatever. So we ended up having like 2 little siblings. So they had somebody to play with. Like it wasn't just, just the one dog. We
Right.
ended up taking them home, washing them up, getting them their shots and all that stuff. And the rest was history. It was a process. That beginning stage, because going to practice, I had to leave the dog for a good like 2-3 hours.
Hmm.
Coming back, of course they were in the cage, but like not being potty trained, like you didn't know what you were about to walk in the door and see. So it was one day, it was one day I came. She had just messed up my room, like tore some stuff up. So I put her in the cage, put her in the living room. I come back, I kid you not. As soon as I opened the door, it was a foul odor, like dog, remnants and stuff. So I walk in, it's on the walls, it's on the floor. I put a blanket in the cage, it's all over the blanket. I almost I almost didn't have a dog after that day. That was almost the last straw. I almost was about to return the dog, but I stuck it through, I cleaned everything up. I finally was able to be in the same room without being mad at the dog. And then the rest is kind of history. After I tore my ACL, my parents came down, and I wasn't able to care for the dog the way that I wanted to at that point because I couldn't really walk. So my mom ended up taking the dog, and that was probably the worst decision ever because my mom is in love with that dog. Like that
Not
dog
your dog anymore.
it's barely like I got like dual custody on the weekends type thing. Like it ain't even I don't even get to see her every day. But yeah, so I mean it kind of worked out though, because my mom, we just had a dog prior to that passed away. So it was kind of one of those situations where like she was already kind of feeling, not too good about the dog that we had my whole childhood passing. And I
Right.
ended up getting one. She came down and now the dog has a crazy personality, sweetest dog ever. Like I love her to death, but it's kind of my mom's dog now. So it's a
That's a
little.
situation of itself.
Yeah, man, it was it was messed up. And now my dad wasn't a fan at first. My dad's coming around. My dad's getting real soft with that dog. So it's kind of
Man,
messed up for me, but it's cool. It's cool.
that's cool. Um, there's always a day where you sadly got to hang up the shoes or be done with the active playing days. Have you ever thought about life after sports?
Yes, I definitely have because I mean, you have to kind of think about that type of situation, especially being my situation. Like I've had 3 knee surgeries, so that's I can't have like 10 knee surgeries. That's not something that's possible. So I pray to God that I stay healthy and everything. But if the case were to happen to where I wasn't able to play basketball, there's other things that you got to be prepared to do. And I mean, it's tough. It's I'm not even gonna lie, like I don't completely know. It's still something that I'm trying to figure out if the ball were to stop bouncing like per se soon,
Mhm.
how I would operate, how I fit, because that's something that a lot of people struggle, a lot of athletes alone struggle with when the ball stops bouncing or whenever you're done with your sport. So I mean, that's something my dad actually struggled with himself playing that he played overseas. He played professionally for some years. And when he was done, he had 2 kids, my mom, and he was almost lost himself because he didn't have basketball anymore. So it was kind of he went through that process. So I was able to witness that and he was able to kind of open my eyes to, you don't this isn't forever. You know what I'm saying? So, make sure that you have something on the back end. So it's just kind of trying to figure out what else interests you besides basketball. And so, I mean, there's plenty of things, especially with the photography. Like that's something that I would love. Like if I were to have to stop playing basketball, I would definitely be doing photography a lot more because that's something that I really enjoy. And it's something that, it's always something, it's always a service that you can provide. Like it's always gonna be wanted. So everyone's always gonna want a picture. And it's something that lasts forever. So it's always something that I know that I will be able to fall back on, eventually be the Michael Jordan of photographers or something like that. But it's, that's something that you kind of got to think about. And so I mean I have a couple things set up in the background where I'm trying to do some things on the side because that's smart just in general while you're doing what you're doing. But it's kind of scary, honestly, thinking about like not waking up and you don't have to go work out. Like I couldn't even, I don't know, this is different, but it's definitely
Yeah.
something that you got to think about and be prepared for, honestly.
Do you think you'll be comfortable with your last time playing?
I hope I go out like Kobe. I hope I go out with 60 points and I'm, you know what I'm saying? I did my thing, but either way, yeah, I think I'll be comfortable. I hope it's, at a time period where see, it's my plan and God's plan might be different, but I hope it's, I'm older in age. I was able to make a substantial amount of money. I've been able to provide for myself, my family, and I'm well off. Like it's not gonna be one of the things where like I'm done hooping now. It's like, where's my next, where we gonna how we gonna make some money now? So it's we'll see how everything plays out. I have faith in myself. I have faith in God, and I know everything's gonna work out regardless. But I would love to, be able to hang them up, say I did everything that I could. I put all these hours in. I achieved what I wanted to achieve, and I kind of chalk it up and live my life somewhere in the Bahamas or something like that. So, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be
So
mad.
I have a little bit of a tally going with these questions. It's Thursday.
Mhm.
Coach Davis gives you the weekend. Are you going
Mhm.
out or are you staying in?
I had a situation like this on New Year's. Like this was actually the first year where I could say I matured. Like I had practice the day after, and I didn't go out. I stayed in the crib. I went to bed at a regular time. I mean, I stayed up past New Year's and whatever. But it's kind of almost like a sacrifice. Like you have to choose: is do you want to go out and have fun, or do you want to be great type thing? And I mean, I know that's kind of like a crazy little balance, but that's kind of how it is because you know when you allow yourself to the extra freedom, like when okay, I can go out this Friday, I can maybe do something on Saturday. It just comes like a snowball effect of like you just allowing yourself to do things that aren't necessarily for your in your best interest. And so, I mean, one thing is the temporary pleasures for like the long term type goals thing. So that's something I definitely am more focused on now is like I can have way more fun 5 years from now if I really lock in today or yesterday and continue to consistently, put in those daily vitamins and work like how you should. And then you can, whatever the fun that you can have later can't compare to what you can have now, type thing.
Right.
So that's kind of the mindset that I have now. I'm not as active as per se, even last year. Like last year, I was looking going out a little too much, and that could have played more into the part of the fact that I got hurt. So I'm staying up super late, waking up super early, and then having a whole day of me just burning all this energy, burning, running, working out. And, it caught up to me. So that's part of the maturing process that, I think I was able
Right.
but to answer your question, I'm probably gonna stay in the crib.
Your
Probably.
team staying in?
You said what?
I said your team staying in.
We got. I probably could convince a couple of us to like hop on the game or something like that, just so we don't, go outside and do something that we shouldn't be doing. But there'll be a couple of us that go out, you know what I'm saying, have some fun. Because I mean, I know some people that can really like go out, go to the club on a Friday and drop 40 on a Saturday type thing. That's not necessarily me. I can't wake up and have the energy that I need to get my day going. So I got to really be smart. Some people are built different. That
Yeah.
ain't me, not like that at least. So that it kind of all depends, honestly.
Well,
Kind of,
welcome to the team staying in, bro.
man, there we go.
What's your favorite court to play on?
Ooh, my favorite court to play on. I'm not gonna lie, I played at Ole Miss this not too long ago, and that was pretty cool. I liked Ole Miss's gym. I don't know what it was. I didn't play like exceptional or anything, but it was a cool little atmosphere. I know LSU. We played LSU last year, and that was a pretty fun experience. It definitely was the gym, they had like this crazy little like their overboard is a huge screen like in the middle. It was pretty cool. Not anything too crazy or anything like that. I played at the Palace in Arbor Hills I played at like this little halftime thing. That was cool. But I mean I kind of look at it like a basketball's a basketball, court's a court. You can do whatever, wherever type thing. So
Right.
I think the more important thing is like the atmosphere, like how the energy is in the gym more so over like the gym that you're playing in.
Mhm.
So that's what I look forward to.
What's one song that you would have to be your intro song every time you walked in the gym?
That's a great question. Intro song when I walk in the gym.
Every
Ooh,
time.
I wasn't prepared for that. I got I don't know. You might have to give me some time on that one.
All
I
right,
gotta
we can
some
come
time.
back to that one. Would you
Bet,
rather
bet.
be a max contract player that never wins or a vet minimum that's a part of a dynasty?
Hmm. Ooh, that's a good question too. So you said a max contract that never wins,
Yep. Or a
or
vet minimum that's and you're a part of a dynasty.
when you okay, so I'm a part of like I'm a factor in a dynasty team, but I'm barely getting paid.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's hard. Because I feel like if you part of a dynasty, you should be getting what you kind of deserve.
Hmm.
But is it fair to like split that half and half? Like I'm cool getting my coins up type stuff. Maybe we
Not for
should.
this one. I mean, I feel you if you ask for like a trade or something, but
Yeah. Honestly, at the end of the day, winning is more fun than everything. I mean, that's really hard because like one question, and even in the NBA now, like I can really understand how you can take like a $200 million contract and go to a boo boo team, but like that's life changing money. So it's there's definitely like an argument for both. Ah, man, that's a great question. It almost seems selfish to take the money because it's like forget the team type thing, but
I mean, you could still be hooping.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can still be hooping, still be providing, and I mean, eventually, honestly, I'd probably with how I play and how or how I try to play, I try to get everybody to like it's not just about me. So if I'm making a lot of money, hopefully I can do my job to where we can change what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm doing what I gotta do and I'm getting paid to, win these games for these people, then you know what I'm saying? I'm probably gonna take that in money. And
Taking the
we'll,
money.
we'll figure it out as the season goes on, type thing.
All right. If you could live the life of a TV or movie character for 24 hours, who would it be? So like you become them for 24 hours in their respective show or whatever.
It would definitely be a superhero because I'm gonna have some powers for sure. I might do like Spider-Man, honestly.
You want me to
Spider-Man,
be Parker for
yeah.
24 hours?
Because you got, yeah, definitely low key Spider-Man because he got strength and he can basically fly with, you know what I'm saying, the web slingers and stuff. And he got the spider senses. Yeah, yeah. I'm probably gonna do Spider-Man. Or
So
like if I'm doing like a cartoon, probably SpongeBob. SpongeBob, that's my favorite show. So I go to the bottom of the sea and flip patties or whatever. I don't know.
Dr. Gary.
Yeah, talk to Gary.
So to circle back, what's the one song that you want to play every time you walk into the gym?
Man, this is crazy. So you talking about like a hype song like to get ready for a game, or you talking about like
Oh,
my
I'm
intro?
talking about it's an empty gym. It's 12 o'clock at night. You walk in, that song plays. It's game day championship. You walk in, that song plays. Like every anytime you walk into a gym, practice, the song's gonna play.
Hold on, give me 1 second because I gotta really like look and see. Um, who would it be? It'd probably be a Baby Money song. Hold on, what is that song called? I don't even be knowing the name of the song like that.
I feel you with that. I don't either.
Like I know the song, but I don't be
Yeah.
knowing the name
No,
to it.
nope. I don't know the name sometimes.
Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Remember Me, Baby Money.
Remember me, baby money.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. That I don't know. I once I heard that song, I thought that was the coldest song for a good little minute, and I look kind of played it out a little bit, so I might get tired of it soon. But
Oh man.
I actually, nah, forget that. If I walk in the gym and I hear that first song, I'm gonna be hyped. You ain't got to do too much else, so that's
Okay.
probably what I choose. That's probably what I choose.
But Mac, I appreciate you for your time today doing this interview.
Definitely, I
You have
appreciate you
something
having
to
me,
take
man.
us
This was
out of
fun.
here.
This was fun. You said what?
I said you have something to take us out of here. I've been trying to get someone to do a hype outro. If you got a saying, a quote.
Uh, you know what? I'm gonna leave you with this because we talked a lot about faith today. This is something that we say before games, but God in me is my everything, and I don't have to worry about anything ever. So that's what I'm gonna leave it on. For everybody that's listening, get your mental health together because it's a big part in life, and just stay up, stay blessed.
Yes, sir.
So I really appreciate you having me though, man. This was fun. I
I
really enjoyed this.
appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir.